Enterprise Stories is the weekly radio program that shares the experiences of successful Nigerian entrepreneurs and provides expert analysis of their success factors. Enterprise Stories, business stories of success.
Welcome to Enterprise Stories. My name is Olawale Anifowose, your host on the program. This episode features the story of a legal entrepreneur who sold his Peugeot 504 to set up a law firm. In our teaching segment, we will share how to conduct a market research and its usefulness. Stay tuned, we will be back with more learning on Enterprise Stories after the break from Stanbic IBTC.
When you are successful in your small business, as I am, people will always come to you. They want to know what you're doing differently, who your bankers are, and what kind of deals you are getting from them. Well, I'm happy to enjoy all the benefits of the SME Zero COT account from Stanbic IBTC Bank. My profit is up. But why? Because I get zero COT, unlimited turnover, no limit on check lodgement or withdrawals, free internet and telephone banking, as well as discount on training courses for small business owners. With special benefits like that on the SME Zero COT account from Stanbic IBTC Bank. Now, there is no reason why your business won't boom just like mine.
Stanbic IBTC Bank, moving forward.
Good day, listeners. Welcome once more to Enterprise Stories. My name is Victor Afolabi, and I will be your faculty for today. Today, we'll be talking about conducting a market research. Every time we talk about market research to an SME or grain business, it's usually seen as something very monstrous, something you need to do when only your business is firmly established, something you need to do that is being carried out only by blue chip companies and multinationals. However, there are a lot of ways we can do market research to achieve our business objectives. And market research is fundamental to ensure that we run our business in a profitable way and we take informed decisions in running our businesses and growing our businesses, as well as seizing the opportunities that exist in the marketplace. Market research, of course, can be defined as a systematic gathering, recording, analyzing of data about problems relating to the marketing of the goods or services that we have. And of course, this will enable a company to assess in a more accurate manner the level of demand for its products. It also influences the decisions to target capital investment on projects that will offer the best return on that investment, such as opening a new store, for example, or entering into a new market or launching a new product. And in doing this, what we basically need to do is to ensure that we clearly understand the objective of conducting the research. What really do you want to do? And in making up your mind what you need to do, the next step is for you to say, okay, if I want to do this, how do I craft my research questions to answer or to point to the direction or to give me the answer to exactly the objectives I'm looking at? And then you ask yourself, what kind of research do I want to carry out? And in this session, all I'll just try to do is to give us an analogy. I once had a chat with somebody who wanted to introduce some kind of a drink. And in finding out the drink, I said, okay, fine, have you done any research? And she told me, no, she hasn't. And I said, the first thing you need to do is place the products and let people give you feedback. You already have the product, you're trying to sell it. And I said, who says first and foremost your price is right? She says, oh, it costed me 100 naira to do. I put just a profit margin of 20 naira and I'm selling. And I said, that's wrong. The first thing is, how much is consumer willing to pay for your product? This in itself gives us a research question we need to look at. How much are consumers willing to pay? As at that time, she was doing about 400 bottles of her product. She wanted to grow the business. And in looking just at that, understanding what is consumers' price point and what the consumer sees as the valuable price they are willing to pay for the product, it was a research in itself. And what we were able to do was, in a few stores where the products were, we kept asking people as they bought the product, what exactly would you like to pay for this product? In 2 weeks, it came out strongly that 90% of the people that were patronizing the product wanted to pay 100 naira for the product. And I said, fine, that is the consumer price point. Your job now is now to see how you work backwards in terms of your product cost and your labor cost, your overhead, to ensure that you achieve the margins you want while achieving that consumer price point, which is what they want. The person did it, and I can tell you the volume grew significantly by about 400%, and besides that, the profit margin grew from about 22% to about 47%. This only comes when we are able to clearly understand the fact that getting feedback, analyzing asking the right questions so that we can be able to look at our businesses in a different way and take opportunities is vital. There are different ways to conduct a market research, but like I said, the summary of a research is to ask your potential consumer, is to ask people that are likely to patronize you, what are they looking for? What do they want from you? Is there something that they want you to change? And is there an area of your business in which you have a challenge and you're confused what to do? The best thing is to do a research. Go to the people that are patronizing you and let them give you feedback. And basically, as you begin to summarize their feedback and analyze their feedback, it's able to give you a direction. Whether you need to take a new decision, whether you need to innovate your product, whether you need to change your services, maybe there are even a downside of the quality of your product, you can only get that. Without market research, we're only moving around in the dark and hip shooting and taking decisions without having something to give us a shining or a guiding light about what we need to do. Thank you very much, listeners, as we go about growing our businesses.
My brother, you see, for this our import and export business, not be who go China pass 9 be the issue. Now who you dey follow talk 9 matter, eh? Who you dey follow talk as how? The expert then we sabi the business of import and export in toto. People like Stanbic IBTC Bank.
Stanbic IBTC? Nah, person name be that.
Stanbic IBTC Bank na my bank, and then sabi my business well.
Announcing the arrival of Flight 220 from China.
Doing business in China? Come, let's talk about how our expertise and understanding of the import and export business will help you grow and trade smarter. With Stanbic IBTC Bank, you have access to import and export trade finance, letters of credit, telegraphic transfer, bills for collection, and other well-tailored trade advice that moves you forward. For more information, visit www.stanbicibtc.com or call our number 0700 2255 782 6242. Stanbic IBTC, moving forward.
Welcome back. Our guest today is Mr. Babatunde Okupa. He's the principal partner of Babatunde Okupa and Associates. Mr. Babatunde, you're welcome to Enterprise Stories.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's go straight to my favorite question. How did it all start?
Well, it all started 3 months into my youth service. I had made up my mind that I was going to practice law. And I had a car then, a 504. I disposed of it and I used the money to rent an office on Lagos Island, 18 Moloney Street, 2nd floor. And I started my legal practice then. National NYC was paying us 350 naira then. That was what I was giving to my secretary. I employed one secretary and I started hunting for briefs. My half brother then was general manager of Guarantee Trust Bank. Mr. Akin Adetola is my mother's firstborn. I'm the lastborn. So through him, I was getting small briefs from Guarantee Trust Bank, and that's how I started off.
The legal profession.
The legal practice.
Okay.
Yes.
At what point did the game all change for you? What was that big break that changed everything you were doing at Okupa and Associates?
Well, at a point in time, I had cause to give legal advice to a senior advocate. Somebody referred me to him, and he needed a lawyer who was conversant with conflict of laws. Conflict of laws is an area of law that most lawyers generally dislike or run away from because it's very esoteric and uninteresting. But it's an area of law that I have personal interest in. So the gentleman called me up and gave me this problem, which was coming from Nigeria LNG UK. And I gave him that, I did a summary for him and submitted the paper, and he said I should submit my bill, which I did. And when I submitted my bill, the said learned senior advocate was like, look, why would you want to disgrace me? Go and add an extra zero to the 60,000 you had submitted to make it 600,000. And 600,000 was finally paid, but he kept the part of it that went with his extra zero. So that got me thinking that, okay, so that means I can do more in this profession than I am worth more than I'm doing. So at that point in time, the game plan had to change. I had to review and revisit my practice as a whole. And it's at that point in time that I turned around and began to do new things.
Okay, now the legal profession is one profession that a lot of people somehow shy away from and look at it as, for you to be able to make money in this area, you have to have certain level of clientele and all that. But with you, you've worked your way to be able to attain where you are now. Now, from the legal business, what other businesses have you been able to jumpstart?
Well, thank you very much for the question. Quite interesting. Really, well, the idea is quite simple. When you make money from legal practice, if you keep your money in the banks, you won't get much. So after attending a couple of programs at the Enterprise Development Services, as it then was known now, Enterprise Development Center at the Lagos Business School, I realized that there are better opportunities of reinvesting money. So when I make money from legal practice, I began to plow such money into other investments, into property investments, into consulting, international corporate legal practice, and a little bit of oil and gas. And that's how I've been sustaining myself and the gentlemen in the various offices since then.
Okay, if you're just joining us on Enterprise Stories, we are talking with Mr. Babatunde Okupa, the principal partner of Babatunde Okupa and Associates, and he has been sharing with us how he has been able to start his legal business and diversify into other businesses. Now, I have a very interesting question for you. You have thus far been successful in managing your legal business and other businesses, but it hasn't always been all joyous. What are some of the challenges you've experienced coming up, and how have you been able to overcome them?
Well, the major challenge we have in this country is well known to everybody. It's the issue of corporate governance. You have that you meet with that in virtually every government establishment. And lawyers, we are practically running to one government establishment or the other for one business or the other, for and on behalf of our clients, even within the courts, even in the government secretariats. So the issue of corporate governance is always coming up against you. It works against us substantially as lawyers. For instance, if you insist on getting it done the way it's supposed to be done, you will find out that you continue looking for a file for donkey years. And meanwhile, the person that will be busy helping you to look for that file is the person who has kept the file well hidden away until you are ready to play ball. It's unfortunate I don't have that experience with my colleagues on the other side of the Atlantic. I've attended various conferences, and I know that most lawyers in other countries, in UK in particular, and United States in particular, they don't have that problem. But we have it in big portions, and that is a real challenge for practicing lawyers in this country. And of course, the effect of it is that along the line, some of us decide to throw integrity overboard and just join the queue and move on with the rest of the crowd. But some of us have insisted that no, rather than become rich doing it that way, we will stick to doing it the right way, even if it means we are not as rich as the others.
Yes. Okay, now, as a member of the American Bar Association yourself, and with your vast experience in doing business in Nigeria, why is it necessary for a legal person to be entrepreneurial?
Well, that's like saying, why should a human being be breathing? It's all about getting something done in one's life. You want to move up, you want to get something done and move from there to the next level and to a higher level and to a higher level. You keep doing it and you find joy in succeeding, and that continues to push me personally. As long as you are succeeding, there is joy in it. And if you don't succeed, you stand up again, you move on again, you redo it, because you just have to succeed. So there's a reason for wanting to go into business, and that is the reason.
Okay.
You want to move up in life.
Okay, now in conclusion, I always like to throw this in for the benefit of those that are listening and are about to graduate from the law school. What's that message you'll be sending out to them today?
convince yourself that you want to practice law the way it ought to be practiced before you go into legal practice. If you know that you are not interested in going into legal practice the way it ought to be, then you can go and run a school or come and work in Enterprise Development Center.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Babatunde Okupa. If you're just joining us on Enterprise Stories, we've been talking with Babatunde Okupa, the principal partner of Babatunde Okupa and Associates, and he shared a lot with us. We'll be right back with the analysis. Thank you very much.
When you are successful in your small business, as I am, people will always come to you. They want to know what you're doing differently, who your bankers are, and what kind of deals you are getting from them. Well, I'm happy to enjoy all the benefits of the SME Zero COT account from Stanbic IBTC Bank. My profit is up. But why? Because I get zero COT, unlimited turnover, no limit on check lodgement or withdrawals, free internet and telephone banking, as well as discount on training courses for small business owners. With special benefits like that on the SME Zero COT account from Stanbic IBTC Bank. Now, there is no reason why your business won't boom just like mine.
Stanbic IBTC Bank, moving forward.
You're tuned in to Enterprise Stories, brought to you by Stanbic IBTC and Enterprise Development Center of the Pan Atlantic University.
Welcome back. We're now in the analysis segment. We've heard a very interesting story of Okupa and Associates. Mope, what's your take on this week's story?
Thank you, Wale. I have heard the story, and here are my analysis. The story of Mr. Babatunde Okupa, who's the managing partner of Okupa and Associates, brings the very important issue of having that determination to pursue a dream. From what I heard, he had decided he was going to pursue his profession right from his NYSC time. Now, this focus and this determination spurred him regardless of the challenges that he knew he was going to face. So it does show that passion and determination is extremely important if you want to be an entrepreneur and you actually want to make your dream become a reality. Beyond that, what we could tell was that he did have a bit of a specialization trait, which actually endeared him towards certain customers. He was being sought after for the talent that he was able to exhibit. So this is, again, a very important trait that budding entrepreneurs need to have. You must be known for what you're able to do. Again, what I could tell from his story was that the value that the buyer of his services had, which was communicated by the fact that someone was even willing to pay way above what he had initially billed, shows that you are able to provide services even higher than what you may have thought. This value is extremely important. If you're not able to create value, people would not be able to pay for your services or would not be willing to pay for your services. In the same vein, it shows that you're able to command a price which is even higher than you may have initially thought, because the value has actually been justified by doing a very good job. Again, one of the last things that I actually saw is that it is very important that you seek out opportunities. He may have started out in the legal profession, but continuous education had opened up his eyes to the fact that there are opportunities even around him. He's been able to diversify into consulting, oil and gas, real estate by putting back most of the funds that he was able to make from his initial investment. And he's building more of a sustainable business because he's now diversified into different markets. So that actually means that regardless of what actually comes across any of these businesses, he has more solid foundation to be able to take him through. Now, he did talk about challenges, which is obviously a fact in every business. It's never a bed of roses. There will obviously be times when things are very difficult. And he's identified corporate governance as one of the main challenges. Well, for me, this is something that is embedded in our environment. More so, the legal profession has got to be the custodian of having very good ethics. And he's actually said that, yes, it might have stunted his rise because he's decided to toe the line of integrity and the rest, and he may not be as rich as his counterparts. But what has happened is that integral stand that he has taken has still seen him through, and he's been able to find other opportunities beyond the fast track, which obviously could fall out like a pack of cards because there's really no foundation there. Again, it just shows that success bequeaths success. When you're successful, you're like a magnet. You attract a lot of opportunities, you attract a lot of people. You don't need to do as much blowing your trumpet because your success goes before you. So it's extremely important that you set up the right foundation so that success seeks you out regardless of where you're doing. I think this was very encouraging to our budding entrepreneurs. And last of all, I think the law profession shouldn't be seen as something as a dreadful job where things don't happen. The fact that you have your basic education, you can actually diversify into so many other areas. The fact that you have a legal mindset doesn't mean that you have to stick solely to the law profession. You have an opportunity to diversify into different areas and still bring your expertise into these areas. So I think this is a very encouraging story, which should also tell us that regardless of where we find ourselves, we have opportunities lying right in front of us. And it's how best we actually take these opportunities and go for it with that passion and dedication that would actually see us through.
Thank you, Mokwe, for your analysis. Listeners, we've come to the end of Enterprise Stories for this week, and I truly hope that you learned from the story of Okupa and Associates. If you've missed this episode, not to worry, just log on to edc.edu.ng. I'll take that one more time, edc.edu.ng, and you can download this week's episode and other episodes. Until next week, stay enterprising. Join Enterprise Development Center of the Pan-Atlantic University, formerly known as the Pan-African University, as we celebrate 10 years of entrepreneurship development in Nigeria. For questions and comments, please email edc@pau.edu.ng or log on to Enterprise Stories on nigeria.smatoolkit.org for useful resources and articles to help grow your business.